All right, guys, another day. Gold hitting another record high. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a pullback, but nope, just running and running and running and running and running. Probably will cut my Barrick Gold short off the open. We'll see how it opens up. Um, I was planning for it gold to be red overnight, and I thought it was a good setup because it was right at the resistance. And so if you kind of suck people in right at the resistance and then you get a red move on gold, I was thinking it would open lower and get a bit of a flush down. As I've seen plays like that happen many times before. So hasn't happened. I'll have to feel it out after the open. I might have to cut my short there pretty quickly. But we'll see. It does look like a bull flag on the weekly, so I do recognize that, and I was talking about that. But again, I thought gold was going to drop overnight, and I thought it'd be a good setup as just catch it right at the resistance, and then gold red overnight, and then we get a red move. So didn't happen. Could still happen. I got almost an hour for gold to drop and this to change course, but we'll see. Gen M going lower in the pre-market, not too much volume. So that's a little interesting to me. Maybe that will pick up before the open. This does look like a bull flag. Looks pretty clear. We did get higher volume, increasing volume yesterday, but not a volume climax. So that shows that there's still a lot of interest in this stock. So we'll see if it's able to get some continued follow through today. Ideally, you want to see the bulls break that 75 and then that 78. On the support side, a minimum, you want to see 66 cents hold. More ideally, 68 cents, more clear level, that higher low. Obviously, you don't want to see it pull back at all. But if it does, ideally 68 and 66 at minimum. But obviously, you don't want to see that happen. We'll see if it's able to get some further momentum today. I think the mining stocks, and I'm very, very bullish mining stocks, I just think they're due for a little bit of a flush where you kind of shake people up because they basically have little to no red at all. So I was thinking soon we're going to get that red move to suck in more bears, and that's how you get more momentum to the upside. You need to suck in bears, shorting, and then what happens is then the buying continues, and then those bears get squeezed out at higher prices, and that actually helps fuel the rally higher. So when shorts enter positions and then they get squeezed, that helps fuel the rally higher. And I think that's what we need right now. I think we need a push down across the mining sector to trap bears, suck them in, trap them so that we can squeeze it higher after. And that's what I'm looking for personally. It's not happening yet. I'm looking for it like recently. I'm starting to look for this. So this is why I took that short on Barrick Gold. We'll see if it plays out. Gold just got a $15 drop. We'll see if that momentum continues into the open at 9:30. IonQ, I made a nice gain on it yesterday. I don't want to be too greedy, guys, right? I called a nice short. The stock dropped. It was down as much as almost 8-9%, and I made a nice gain. I took the gain, and I'm going to do that more and more often. I'm just going to get in and out pretty quickly with the day trades. With the swing trades, the longer terms, you hold those longer. That's why I have them in the research report. They're meant to be held on to for a longer period of time, and you ride them out for weeks or months at a time. If I have a stock in the research report, if I give it orange, doesn't mean I think it's a sell. It means I'm a little bit unsure, a little bit thrown off. But I don't think it's a sell as of now. And, I still am bullish the stock longer term. So if I give it an orange in there, don't think it means sell. Maybe trim a little bit. Maybe just be a bit cautious. Maybe have a bit of a stop loss. But overall, I'm still bullish that stock if it's orange. If it's red, that means I changed my mind now. And I'm leaning more to the downside than to the upside. Think if it got a bit of momentum yesterday, not enough volume here, but I still like this stock, a potential longer term hold on the penny stock side. Very slow though, so we'll see if it picks up. X, I'm still looking for this dip to be bought here. I've been looking for this for several weeks now, and it's continued to go lower. I'm thinking around this 50-51 is probably a really good area to get in. This is the company that owns the TSX exchange. They make a lot of money. a good amount of money. It's a very good business, obviously, listing the companies on the exchange and providing those services. So I think this stock will end up getting picked up again at these levels. Is starting to look interesting to me. So definitely something to keep an eye on for the longer term portfolio potentially. CLS getting a further breakout here, going absolutely nuts. I'm a little bit unsure what to say here. I mean, technically, if you consider that this company is providing all kinds of services and products and manufacturing and whatnot to huge companies like Nvidia, you know, a $43 billion valuation is actually quite low. Now, based on their current earnings and stuff, it's not really low because they got a P ratio of 54. But, you know, obviously, if all those businesses are growing and they're all valued in the trillions, you know, maybe there could still be a lot of potential more upside on CLS. So might be one to continue to keep an eye on the Canadian side as it's hitting new all-time highs here and getting a breakout after going sideways for over a month. I'm bearish. Some of the U.S. stocks are leaning bearish, but it's not like I'm holding short positions. I don't like to hold on to short positions, especially too long. I like to get in and out. But a lot of these stocks that have been high flyers, I think they could be primed to start shorting soon, potentially. Rocket Lab, maybe TMQ. We'll see. This might get picked right back up today. But it's got a lot of volume at that high. That was probably the cue for the drop yesterday. IonQ, some of these other names. But until the overall market starts turning bearish, you don't want to be too bearish, even the high flyers, because, you know, they might get weakness and a bit of a sell-off, even if the market's hitting new highs. But if the market's weak, then those stocks will be really, really weak, and that's when you can really make some good money on them. So with the market, it got picked right back up yesterday. It dipped, and then it just got picked right back up. And then that's right when I mentioned, I send out an alert saying I think the bulls are due for a rebound. And you know, it did play out in a pretty big way. A lot of action here. UCU, Ucore Rare Metals on the TSXV. I'm unsure what to think here. Kind of bearish because a lot of the volume's at the high, but it might be someone to keep an eye on for further volatility. It's not too much volume there, but decent. Almost 2 million shares traded hands yesterday. BTO continues to be one of the strongest gold miners in my opinion, but I'm getting a little bit iffy about chasing over here. Although I continue to think these gold miners will end up going higher ultimately. I'm just looking for a potential dip buy potentially soon, which may or may not happen. But if gold continues this pullback here, we might get that pullback I was looking for before the open on the gold stocks. Clean energy stocks, CSIQ, First Solar, BEPC, Brookfield Renewables on the Canadian side. Where did it go? Right over here. It's been doing well. I added this to the research report 2 weeks back. It's been doing quite well since then, getting a further breakout here. Carney is invested in this company as well. I do believe there's a lot of continued investment going to be made into renewable energy. That's probably why we're seeing Suncor come off, because some of these renewable energy stocks, people are just investing in there instead of oil, which oil is just falling off a cliff. It's broken below that 60 level. You know, I don't know too much here. Yeah, I haven't been talking about Suncor much just because oil hasn't been looking good. Suncor broke that trend line that I drew a bit back, and I didn't really like that. And it kind of edged up, continued rejecting it, and then just flushed down. I didn't really like that. So we'll see here. I still think it's a good long-term hold, but short-term, it just doesn't look to be the most interesting play. Although we'll see if the bulls are able to hold 54.71. That's our closest support over here. If the bulls can hold that, maybe they'll get a little bit of a rebound on there. We're seeing a little bit of momentum in Algoma Steel. I don't like this long-term chart personally, but short-term, the bulls are seeing some momentum. I guess it got a bit of oversold. There's a decent amount of volume at the lows now. Our closest resistance is up at 636. See if the bulls are able to break that level. So those are some of the things I'm watching today, and I'll update you on the live soon.